Hey, what's up guys? Robert here from loamwolf.com. Thank you so much for tuning in to this video about YT's brand new Decoy SN, their supernatural enduro bike powered by a Fazua Ride 60 motor. Stay tuned to learn a little bit about it and find out how it's been performing so far in this first ride review on loamwolf.com. Let's go. Yes, so this is the YT Industries Decoy SN, SN standing for supernatural, because essentially YT wanted to design an enduro bike that would give you a supernatural feeling in terms of its light but yet natural feeling assistance coming from the Fazua Ride 60 system. This system gives you 60 Newton meters of torque, as you might expect, and is powered by a 400 watt-hour fixed internal battery, meaning that you do need to drop out the motor to replace it, but in doing so, YT was able to save around a kilo from the frame weight while still optimizing the strength and stiffness overall. This is a 160mm rear travel with a 170mm fork and mixed wheel setup only across the size range. You get sizes small through to double extra large, covering a wide gamut of riders, all of them optimized around nice long travel dropper posts and giving yourself just plenty of clearance on the bike. They wanted it to be the best enduro bike that they ever made, so they've really just tailored the kinematics and the geometry, meaning that when you're popping and playing in the tighter sections of the trail or just trying to have a bit of fun, it's still not going to be a totally uninspiring ride. This is not a bike that they have tried to really count every gram and completely shave the weight to get to a target figure. This is a bike that they wanted just to inspire with their gravity DNA and really just try and offer a nice and safe, reassuring, confidence-inspiring, as much as I hate saying that, ride without compromising anything. You know, these are enduro casing tires fitted Conti with the brand new super soft in the front across the range. The frame is nice and burly, nice and stiff, plenty of tire clearance in the rear, and they're going to have super powerful brakes, either the Mavens that you get in the top spec here, or a set of TRP DHR Evos on the lower specs. Speaking of the specs, all of the frames share the same ultra modulus carbon fiber frame powered by the same Fazua Ride 60 system. It's only the suspension spec, the wheel spec and the brake spec that changes from bike to bike really. So this is the Core 4, the top spec build that will come in at $84.99 in euros, pounds and dollars, and then they've got the Core 3 which comes in at $74.99, and then the Core 2 entry level coming in at $64.99, but still packing a RockShox Zeb Select fork up front, a Vivid Select in the rear, and a decent set of DT Swiss H1900 wheels. So although that $64.99 price tag is considerably less than this, it's still not going to be a bike that is going to hold you back at all when you're trying to rep it on the descents. Touching on the geometry quickly, the kind of, standout figures, stack heights are quite high across the range, just to give a nice and confident feel. Reach numbers aren't ridiculous, but they have increased them. This size large has a 475mm reach. The chainstay is the same across all sizes at 442mm, which YT reckons strikes a nice balance between, stability and confidence when you're pushing it hard, but without reducing the kind of playfulness of the bike. And then the head tube angle is 64.2 degrees in the high, or what they're now calling the regular setting. The bottom bracket height is 344 in this setting, so not super slammed, but definitely on the lower side. But it does have a set 160mm crank, so it's not a bike that struggles for the pedal clearance. And then all the bikes are fitted with the same flip chip, offering you 4mm of bottom bracket drop, 0.3 degrees head tube angle change, just to give you a slightly lower, slacker, more raked out position for ultimate stability and confidence on the descents. But anyway, that's enough about the details. If you want to learn more, head to the website, loamwolf.com, in the description below. But for now, we're just going to focus on the ride impressions that we've been putting this bike to the test here in the Austrian Alps over the last couple of days. So let's get into it. So I'm going to lead out this ride impressions section by saying that this is the best SL eMTB that I've ridden to date. This is not a feature that has been sponsored in any way by YT. They did fly us out here to Austria and give us a couple of really nice days riding on the bike. This is just a bike that really speaks to me in terms of its whole ethos, its design, and the performance once you hit the trail and what it's been capable of so far. Getting into it, the Fazua Ride 60 system is not a system that I've had a huge amount of time on so far, but it is a good one. Certainly that extra 10 Newton meters over most of the other SL systems and mid-power, whatever you want to call it, the non-full power e-bike systems is notable. It definitely helps me at 100 kilos or 220 pounds to get up much steeper stuff without having to completely bury myself to do so. It also deals with heat well. It seems to be fairly efficient, although I've not really managed to put it head to head against any other systems yet. Yeah, generally it is being quite pleasurable. It also has a nice natural feeling in how it ramps into and out of its power. So once you start pedaling, it's not like it jerks and jolts off and takes you for the ride. It really kind of almost waits for you to start giving it some go from your own legs before it'll start kicking in and giving you that push. You can of course tune the characteristics of it slightly in the Fazua app by connecting to the bike, but even still, it's definitely a system that offers a slightly more natural feeling than many of the full power systems especially, and it definitely feels like a really nice system to go for a big day out in the hills and get some pedaling done. When you are either above the system's cutoff speed or if you've got it turned off, it doesn't offer much, if any, perceivable drag, meaning that you can effectively extend your ride by starting with it turned off and then quickly ramping up as your legs get more tired. Or it means that if you do get caught out miles from home, you're not suddenly going to be left with dealing with a bunch of resistance in the cranks as you're pedaling it, even when it's not giving you any assistance. So that's really nice to see. Otherwise, it's been rattle-free, no problems. For me, we had one small issue in the group with one of the controllers just stopping talking to the system entirely. Not exactly sure what the problem was there, but you know, out of a big group of 20 riders, having one issue is, I guess, a small percentage of that, and I've certainly not been hearing too many reports of bad things happening with these Fazua systems now that they've got some of the bugs out of the way. The climbing performance, the kinematic, offers you plenty of support when you're climbing. It's definitely on the slightly firmer side. It's not super plush and comfortable as you're pedaling through the chunk, but it's not terrible either. The coil spring definitely helps, or the Vivid shocks, I'm sure, would also offer plenty of sensitivity off the top for that to help with that. But yeah, it means that if you do have the motor turned off, you can keep on pedaling it without feeling like you're really, you know, squishing into the suspension and losing efficiency there, which is really nice. And generally it just feels the geometry is comfortable. The high stack does definitely give you, especially with the 40 mil rise bars that they've got on it, a nice upright climbing position, but with the seat tube angle putting you fairly central on the bike, and the rear end not being super short, it definitely was a machine that I was happy climbing on some super steep stuff here. And it would also be a fairly comfortable ride for long day pedals as well. Moving on to the descents, which is undoubtedly the thing that this has been really designed for. Of course, it's an e-bike that is designed to go up the hills, but YT really has focused on making this a capable and confident descender, and in their eyes, the best enduro bike that they've ever made. That's not something that I can disagree with. Certainly compared to the Capra, it does have a slightly more planted overall feeling, but it's not lost all of the pop and play. Still has that, yeah, YTs have always had that really nice pop to them. That V4RL horse-link suspension system does offer you enough support in the middle of the stroke to keep you from wallowing as you're compressing the bike. It pumps and pushes well. It's nice and stiff, and really just has been encouraging us to absolutely rip the corners and have a good time. Charging through the rough stuff, the coil rear end and the 170mm travel fork have felt incredible. Definitely no worries there, and the traction from the tires has been great too. And really just as an overall bike to blend rough terrain confidence with the ability still to pop and play, and also to give you a nice boost back up the hill. This is really incredible, and definitely we've had a huge amount of fun testing it out here in Austria. This is only a first ride review. I can't comment on any durability aside from the rear tyre starting to show a little bit of wear already, which is quite typical for me in a bike park, because I don't really like keeping the wheels rolling in a straight line if I can help it. But yeah, otherwise it's all ran quietly so far. I did have a small amount of cable rattle, which easily fixed. Otherwise it's just been solid, just getting on, ripping it, and having a great time. So yeah, it'll be interesting. We're going to welcome one of these in for a long-term test, so we'll try hammer quite a few more miles out on it and see if any durability concerns arise, but I don't think that's going to be the case. It definitely feels like a bike that YT's put plenty of effort into making reassuringly durable, and I'm sure it's going to stand up to the test of time. Hope you guys have enjoyed this incredibly positive review on YT's brand new supernatural decoy, the Decoy SN. Give us a like if you have. Leave us a comment, let us know your thoughts on this bike. Do you think people are going to start buying these instead of analog, human-powered, whatever you want to call them, enduro bikes? YT seems to think like that might be the case, but time will definitely tell. And be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on more awesome content on awesome bikes like the YT Decoy SN. Thank you for watching. Catch you out on the trails.